Lally ho, friends, and welcome to episode 14, I think, of Kupo Quest. How is everyone tonight? Or today, for those of you in Australia. So, last time, where we left off. Not a lot happened last episode. It was kind of a chill episode, nothing crazy. We made our way to Lindblom, and Nozak gave us a nice tour of their estate. And yes, I said estate, because when you're 900 years old and you live and work very closely with the Empire, you tend to have quite a bit of money. So we had a little bit of calm here before everything started. We got to have a little bit of a discussion about what we were and were not going to tell the Emperor. Sarah did kind of, plead with you not to mention anything about the situation with her father at the moment, because she doesn't really want that being, widespread information throughout the Empire. We had a really nice bonding situation between Grunther and Kamari. They had a lot of fun playing drinking games while watching Sarah, though I don't think that much watching got done. And we just had like a nice chill night, and everybody kind of tended to their own devices. Izzy tried to get some research done at the library. Ava went around and tried to get a good honest night's work in, kind of scouting around, trying to find out the lay of the land. And so Nozak and Grunthor took a trip to the forge to get rolling on some plate mail for our good friend Grunthor here. But then Grunthor decided that he was going to follow through on Morrow's request and deliver a message to an Elmira. Turns out he tracked her down. Elmira Thatcher was her name, and she did seem to work in very close proximity to the Empress Hildegard. He delivered the message, and she told him to come back alone at midnight to meet with her. He did decide to do that, much to Kamari's chagrin, who was waiting on him for more drinking games the next night. But he slipped out and went to visit Elmira, and there he was greeted with the Empress, who basically questioned him about, what the situation was going on with Cornelia, why Morrow had given him this. And then when Grunthor asked about Phoenix, she introduced the elusive Phoenix to you all, who turned out to be Jane Gainsborough, the thought-to-be-dead mother of Sarah. What you had been told and what common knowledge of Cornelia was that she died in childbirth. So it was a little bit surprising to see her emerge and introduce herself as Jane Gainsborough. And that is where we left off and where we're going to pick up. So, Grunthor, Jane has basically just told you who she was. And just really quick, and I will apologize, you're about to see a little bit of lazy dungeon mastering, because I did want to put some visuals on, but I did not have time to make like an actual background for this. So you got the character portraits here.
How dare you not immerse me?
You're going to have your character portraits here, but you're not going to have anything. It's just a white background. So, but there you go. So just kind of looking at this person down here on the south end, that is Elmira. This one at the very north, that is Empress Hildegard. And then this is Phoenix, a.k.a. ex-Queen Jane Gainsborough, who has come out and introduced herself to you. And, all right, so what are you doing? The ball is in your court, sir.
Well, I'm leaning down, picking up my jaw.
The Empress, by the way, is just kind of watching you, and her eyebrows kind of lifted, and she seems very humored by this whole scene as she's just kind of watching it play out.
Just realizing that this is the rumored the mother of Sarah, I was like, your ladyship, and I go down to one knee as well as in front of the Empress and say, your Empress.
There's no need for that, Jane says, as well. Then the Emperor says, speak for yourself, darling.
Love that for her.
That's my queen.
Jane just kind of shakes her head and rolls her eyes. I am not the lady of Cornelia, nor have I been for a very long time. And if what you're telling me is true, it's my daughter now, and that is the happiest news I've heard in 20 years.
You still hold some rank. madam. And I do get up, and I don't know what to say. Sarah, I don't know. She's been lied to all these years, especially by her father. And I have a little bit of a sneer when I mention Conrad.
At this, almost said Sarah, Jane and Hildegard kind of exchange glances. And Jane kind of lowers her eyes to the floor. I'm afraid we didn't see another way. As far as Conrad's concerned, I am dead. I honestly don't think he knows that I'm not. That was the plan. It was the only way. It was the only way that I was going to make it out of there alive.
I'm guessing that Moro has known the truth?
Yeah, Morrow was the one that helped me escape. I felt so bad leaving my little girl, but I knew he wouldn't hurt her. That's all he ever wanted was an heir. And once he had her, he didn't have any use for me anymore. My husband was not a good man. Is not a good man.
No, he has not. When Sarah took the mantle and basically put Conrad away under house arrest, he apparently murdered a guard and escaped.
That doesn't surprise me.
I assume to hunt down Sarah.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, the only thing he'd ever wanted was someone to pick up his legacy, but not before he was ready. He does not do well with being told no. He does not do well with not getting his way. I think that his idea was that he would die and then pass the reins on. He wanted his legacy to live on, but definitely not like this. It became very clear that... So go ahead.
I have other companions. We met King Conrad at the time because of a murder of a Gauka in Cornelia. So I'm basically going to relate a story to Sarah on how I became the champion of Cornelia, helping Sarah, the rest of our group also being a part of it. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to mention them by name.
Okay. Are you mentioning the fact that Sarah's married? Are you doing that?
I don't
keep in mind you got both mothers in the room.
Yeah,
I
don't think I will yet.
Okay,
that's in her court.
Okay,
I'll relate like what's relevant to me in particular.
Okay,
so that she's caught up.
Okay.
As far as the murder, the old man becoming
Tiamat.
What was that?
Tiamat.
The old man becoming Tiamat.
Yeah, Tiamat. Mm-hmm. How there's no more wind, and I won't relay the exact reason that has happened, but that we have been called the Warriors of Light by Tiamat and some others, and we're trying to right the wrongs, and Conrad's a little piece of this, and Morrow, we didn't trust him.
Do you mention the event in Altair?
Yes.
Okay. When you do that, the Empress kind of sits up straighter. So the rumors are true. Altair has burned?
Unfortunately, we saved as many as we could and have brought them to the gate to your fine city.
Her and Jane just exchange another look, and Jane just kind of shakes her head and gets really quiet. I always wanted to go back once this all blew over, but I guess you can't really ever go home, can you? She just kind of looks over at Hildegard. Jane, we can rebuild it. It's just buildings. It'll be fine.
That's precisely, and I almost say what Firion says, but I'll be like, that's precisely what we all decided. To save the people, the town can be rebuilt.
This is Empress
As he knows, I was like, don't say it.
The Empress is at this point. So, I must ask, Altair, I'd heard rumors, but I wasn't 100% sure. And I also know that my husband has on his schedule some visitors that my son would like him to meet tomorrow. Would that perhaps be your group?
I would presume so. I wasn't made aware of anything Firion wanted to present.
All I know is that he has requested an audience with my husband and wanted to introduce him to the heroes of Altair. And just based on your story, I was just wondering if that was you and your group.
I kind of sheepishly do I call ourselves the heroes? I mean, we helped as much as we could, your ladyship.
So you have met my son?
Firion.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's well?
The last we saw, he was headed to the main.
That's good.
I guess to see the king.
He's been gone for a while. He didn't really tell us where he went, and I've been worried sick. It's nice to know that he's home. Although, he hasn't come to see me yet, so I'm going to have a word with him about that. These companions of yours, do you trust them?
They're the only people I can trust so far in this world. I don't have any recollection of anything in my past.
They both exchanged just a little bit of a worried look. Just very briefly, very quickly. Well, that being the case, I would like to impress upon you the secrecy and how important it is that we keep this secret. We've kept this secret for 20 plus years now, and it is vitally important. If word gets back to Conrad that Jane has survived, and he's already unhinged from what you tell me, I can't really imagine what hell he might rain down on us. It wouldn't be good.
I'm personally worried for Sarah. I have pledged myself to her service and as protector for her, and she proclaimed me champion of Cornelia.
As you say this, Jane says, I'm glad she's surrounding herself with people that she can trust, but I trust Morrow, and Morrow is very powerful, but I don't know if he's enough. We need to send someone back to Cornelia. Sarah needs additional assistance. Would you take me? And at this point, Hildegard goes, Jane, we need to slow down. I do not think this is the time. We're not ready. And Jane says, it has been 20 years. I need to see my daughter. Will you take me to Cornelia, please? When your business here is finished, will you take me?
I think that would be my honor.
Thank you. From the
But
bottom of my
business
heart,
first.
thank you. I understand. You've traveled a long way, and things need to be said. We have a meeting with the Emperor. And then at that, Hildegard says, just kind of chuckles to herself, by the way, don't let him He can come off gruff from time to time, but he's not. He's mainly all bark. Don't let him intimidate you too much, okay?
Precisely in my mind, Nozak.
Right.
All bark, no bite. Tried to fucking kill me, the prick,
So,
with my tiny bunny fingers.
what are you doing? Do you have any
Sorry.
questions? What do you want to say? What do you want to do?
Where will you be in the meantime?
I will remain here. This has been my primary residence for quite some time. So I will be here. We have a system. Elmira helps, make sure we have supplies. When I go out, we have means of keeping myself undetected. But I try to avoid the markets and places like that because, well,
When
I think he
Firion
has
makes
spies here.
when Firion makes this announcement and introduces us to the king and queen, and I again bow to Hildegard. I'm sorry. I would strongly recommend that you can, if there's a way to find yourself in the presence.
She kind of glances back at Hildegard, and they both exchange just kind of a curious look. Hildegard, at this point, says, do you think perhaps this concerns myself as well? I tend to not sit in on my husband's private meetings, but I can always force the issue if need be.
It involves your son
I will be
and the
there.
Empire as a whole.
I will definitely
But I
be
think
there.
both of you should be there.
We can make that happen.
This
Kind of look at each other. Tomorrow, then, I believe. I don't even know if Firion has come to you yet, but I just was checking the schedule earlier. Sometimes I see what meetings my husband has to see which ones I want to force my way into.
it would be beneficial for everyone involved, including Cornelia.
At this, Jane just kind of looks at Hildegard, almost a pleading look, just like, you know, and some unspoken words kind of travel between the two of them. And Hildegard looks at her, glances really quickly at Elmira, and then locks eyes with you.
Does the king know about Lady Jane?
We'd probably make a safe assumption to say no, wouldn't we?
Darling, my husband only knows what I want him to know.
Nozak is a Hildegard sim! Oh, I love her!
In this case, I did not want him to know. For reasons. But
Now I'm just imagining Nozak doxing people on Twitter who talk shit about her.
Fucking on Twitter cancelling bitches for talking shit about Hildegard.
yeah, I like Hildegard. That's why I picked Adia for her picture, because I like Adia too.
Bunny Fever 101 on Twitter.
Oh my god.
Unless you need me for anything else, I'll take my leave now and prepare for tomorrow. But I advise that you also prepare yourselves for tomorrow.
Very well. At this point, Jane says, "Thank you so much. You really have no idea what this means to me." At this point, Hildegard kind of cuts her off. "And I would like to stress once more, please, only share this information with those that are absolutely vital to have it. We don't need this getting around.
Certainly.
If we stumble here at the very end, we'll know exactly who fucked up."
I love her so much.
I think tomorrow will be a interesting day.
I look forward to it. Very much.
I bowed to them both, even though Lady Jane said no need. And I turn around and look at Almyra. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You've done Cornelia and the Empire a great service. And she just kind of
I'm like, we shall see.
opens the door for you.
Oh my god.
As you're leaving, Hildegard just says once more, have a good night. And again, my husband's a lot of talk. Don't let him scare you. I'll be there if you need me.
And I turn around and head back to Nozak's residence.
Okay. With that, the door shuts behind
Sweating bullets?
you as you make your way back to the residence. It's not that far. You're still in the same district, the Imperial Palace district. You don't have to leave that. Pretty quick walk. At this point, you met at midnight.
Just imagine Grunthor getting home like, oh my god!
So at this point, it's probably like 1:32 in the morning. Would anybody be up of the three of you?
Oh, Izzy, absolutely.
Okay. Izzy, Avo,
Like, yeah. Nozak could probably, like, maybe not long getting home from the forge because he'd stay behind for a bit to try and speed up the process.
okay. Process, by the way, give me, let's just see. Do you have a proficiency? You do have proficiency with, like, your smith's tools or whatever, so go ahead and just give me a d20 add your proficiency bonus to it.
Proficiency plus 3, so flat d20, sorry.
Yeah, and then we'll just add 3 to it.
Okay. 17.
17. Pretty good day, actually. You thought for a minute that you were going to have a shortage of one of the parts, but you managed to find some excess back in the stock room. So the process throughout the day went right about on pace, is what you're expecting. Not faster, not slower, but you're making some good work on it.
Love it.
So, at this point, Grunther, you make your way home, maybe surprised to see your 3 comrades kind of still awake. They're the only ones you see. The children have gone to bed. Sarah's gone to bed. Kamari you don't see. You can only assume that he's kind of upstairs where you left him before, maybe, standing guard or sleeping in front of Sarah's door. So for the moment, it's just the 4 of you. You all see Grunther come in, like, really late. Probably not sneaking in, but coming in.
Clank, clank, clank.
It's like 1:30 in the morning when Grunther just kind of returns to the house.
Izzy is just doing some extra reading to prep for adding a spell to his spell book because he's never done it before via just learning about a spell.
Nozak made some tea.
Ava, what are you doing?
Ava would just be like balancing a dagger on his finger, and as Gunther comes back in, he would be like, "Oh, welcome back. I'm glad I don't have to look for you in the morning."
Morning. When are we to go to the castle?
I believe we got word not long ago. We need to see them tomorrow at around noon, I think it was. I don't remember. Probably earlier.
I think Firion said he was going to fetch for us when we were ready.
Then if you don't mind, I'll head to bed. I want to be well rested for tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. Good night.
And in saying that, I actually head back out to a stable area and lay down with Duchess.
Okay. She bristles a little bit, already asleep, but when you come, she kind of wakes up, a little annoyed at first until she sees that it's you. And then she just kind of wraps her wing around you to kind of keep you warm as you lay down next to her in the stables. So, the 3 of you, anything you want to do there?
Hey, Nozak.
Yeah, what's up?
I know you just kind of spent the last few hours at the forge, so I'm not going to ask you to do this tonight. But I found this thing that I want to give to Grunthor.
Okay.
And Ava will reach out to his pouch and pull out the fire materia.
Oh.
Can you
Huh.
put this in his in a sword, in his eclipse?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Ava. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
Yeah, I have never even heard of it until now. Izzy knows what it is, apparently.
Is he?
Materia is almost like crystallized magic. It's not very common in certain places because of how difficult it is to make.
It's not illegal, is it?
No. It's
okay,
more
good.
so just rare. You
Oh.
need to be quite skilled to make it. Even you see, he looks at Ozak. He's like, "I think you could do it, Nozak." It takes a real gentle and skilled hand to add it to accoutrements. You really need to know what you're doing, and as someone who's skilled in magic, I think you'll be able to figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I can have a look at it, I guess. Is it concentrated energy or something? Or Dozak's just gonna start being like, how does it work? And he's just playing around with it.
You can give me an Arcana
Well, since
or a Nature check.
you've asked,
Arcana or nature?
with advantage, as I do assume Izzy launches into an explanation.
Yeah.
Right, I'm doing nature with advantage. 19.
Okay. So, yeah, as you're kind of staring at it, and as Izzy's kind of going through the spiel of what he knows, and Izzy, from where you're from, information on this would be more abundant than probably here in the city. Essentially, yes, it is crystallized forms of various types of magic. Now, from what Izzy lets you know, that it can be actual crystallized elemental magic, and there are some instances of it being located, especially near the larger crystals, where something has caused just that energy to harden and materialize. So, there may have been some near the wind crystal. There may be some near other crystals. There's also reports, although a little rarer, that it's also can be found life stream magic. The magic that is typically drawn upon by those that deal with more natural elements of magic, druids and certain rangers. That magic can also crystallize at times and provide different types of materia. Izzy also lets you know that there are places that utilize these in different equipments and armors, because you can imbue the magic from these materia into additional pieces of, again, armor, weapons, accessories, things like that. It's blowing your mind a little bit.
Yeah, Dozak's just like, holy shit.
Yeah,
How
this
have
chick in the street, she had it in a glove, and then when she wanted to, she did that thing that Izzy does with fire.
Izzy, extensive explanation. Ava, so we found this bitch in the street and it's fire?
yes.
I suppose you... Holy shit, I have so many ideas. Is it...
Yeah, so, I don't know if it would work as simple as, this makes the sword on fire. That would be really fucking cool. But, I mean, either way, I'm sure something with a fire sword would make one Grunthor pretty happy, and two, that'd be very fucking intimidating.
Is it
Regardless,
limited, or is it unlimited uses?
Sure.
Would we be able to discern that?
It depends. I would assume it would depend.
Izzy, you can roll me an Arcana check.
Sure. +6, baby.
Let's go.
That's almost a 19. That's a 15.
Okay. So the what you know is that the materia itself, because it's such a concentrated form of energy, that while it may theoretically have a point to where the magic wanes and leaves it, it is, for all intents and purposes, unlimited. You've theorized that by the time it runs out, now, Nozak might see the end of it, but your normal mortal may not. Probably wouldn't. So,
it will last a very long time.
You don't say.
Also, it doesn't do what I do. The way that I produce magic is I'm quite literally producing the element on my own. I'm not pulling it from somewhere else. That would be closer to how I would say you or a druid does their magic, pulling it from a specific source.
Ava, I hope you don't want this back.
I
Because
mean,
I'm not giving it to you.
well, ideally it's for Grunthor.
And if you try to steal it, I will get Luca to take it back. He's good. Thank you for that. I'm gonna go try some things, and you're gonna see Nozak walk over to where the kitchen is, just punch the wall once, and there's a little staircase that's gonna start falling down, little tick, 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 in the middle of the kitchen, that is just small enough for him to go down. And then as he goes down, the stairs are gonna come back up. And Nozak has a little workshop down there. You ain't gonna see him again until morning.
Ava's like, well,
He outie.
that was money down the drain.
You go on and get your 4-hour meditation, and I need to study these runes if I want to even attempt to figure out how I can replicate this spell.
We're gonna sleep tonight, right? We got a long day ahead of us. Tomorrow.
Don't worry.
God, tonight's a weird night. All right, I'll see you in a few hours.
Izzy is just going to study. He's not going to attempt to recreate the spell yet.
Okay.
Normally, it takes him quite a while to learn these spells. Hence, the 2 spells he gets to add each level up. And he's never attempted to basically jumpstart that process himself. So he's just researching.
So I
But
guess
eventually he does go to sleep.
Okay, that was my question. Nozak, what about you? You think you're gonna sleep at all tonight, or are you gonna work all through the night?
I don't think he's sleeping, to be honest.
All right, you'll take 1 point of exhaustion. Then.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you'll take a point of exhaustion.
I will take the point of exhaustion for the idea that I have later.
Gotcha. With that, I'll make you a deal.
Found it. Sorry.
You can take a 1 point of exhaustion, but when a roll comes up that's related to whatever work you did, I'll give you advantage on it. So.
Fucking deal.
That'll be like a trade-off. How's that sound?
I ain't stupid enough to say no to that.
So.
Well, actually, Nozak might be. His intelligence is quite low, but I'm not.
What is? Okay.
It's -1. I need to change that.
I asked you to do a lot of intelligence stuff. Again.
Yeah.
You made a character that's been around forever.
I
of course
know.
You're gonna get the history rolls, dude. You're my conduit for lore dumps. You were there.
You're not like at least you're not like my friend who asked the DM something special, and the DM's like, "Yes, roll high." And they rolled a nat 1, and they're like, "It's a lake. It's a lake." She was so disappointed.
I'm sorry. So, the morning comes. Everyone kind of wakes up at their own, at their own time. Nozak's still nowhere to be seen the next morning. For those of you, let's see, that come back down into the main room, Izzy and Ava, you would both hear just the slight little tings coming from the basement. Very, very quiet, but it does sound like he's still working on something down there.
Yeah. I guess we just need to wait for Firion, though.
I want to investigate this area. Is there a little walk? Is there a little thing I can stick some thieves' tools in to try and... I'm curious.
Give me an investigation check, and I will give you advantage because you did see the general area where he punched the wall.
Well, I might not need it. I actually rolled it regular. Yeah, 19.
19. It doesn't take very long. You kind of go right back to where you saw him punch the wall, and you can see it is very, very well camouflaged. but you can see just a very small portion of the wall. It is very tiny for tiny little fists, but it does look like it can be indented to like a button.
Interesting. Take note of that.
You ever just try to break into your friend's panic room?
If my friends had panic rooms, I would try to break in. You got to test it. Okay, you got to test it for your friends. Because
Absolutely.
if I can get in, it's not a good panic room.
Mm.
So, Grunthor, what are you doing this morning?
I'll probably be coming in to do wash up, and then going, grabbing breakfast, and then heading back out to get Duchess all spiffy and ready.
Okay. As you go in, everyone's kind of, in the main area now. As you go in to try to get, some food. Sarah just is slowly coming down the stairs. Kamari kind of trailing behind her. And she just looks super nervous. She kind of comes downstairs and just she sits on the edge of the couch, and she's just kind of twiddling her thumbs a little bit and just kind of anxiously staring at the door. And you see Kamari trying to talk to her, and she's just like, yeah, as she's just rocking just a little bit. Give me actually no, Zach, you're not there.
Nope.
Izzy, Ava, you would both know with your passive perception. You can see her hands shaking ever so slightly.
Izzy will see that, and he pulls up his sleeve, and on his arm, you guys see the rune he used to desummon Al-Nubis. You see he whispers a few words before moving his hands, and you see it comes up, and in a flash, Al-Nubis is back. And you see he whispers something to his familiar, and the owl just flies over into Sarah's lap.
Huh. She just starts petting it. Then she looks over and she catches your eyes, and she just kind of mouths, "Thank you." And just kind of pets the owl. Seems to be calming her down,
Ava,
giving her something to focus on.
Yeah, Ava, you would noticed that Al-Nubis is moving very specifically, and more specifically moving towards her hands, and you see he's doing specific motions to calm her down, almost as if he's had to calm people down before.
You have a support Nubis.
I hate it.
I love it. No, that's so cute. Your familiar is your support animal.
It's the group's support animal. Okay? Everyone's going to need it at some point, I'm sure.
I just get drunk.
Just imagining a fucking punch card.
I have a
We all
6 foot.
just have-
I have a 6 foot bird outside. That's my support animal.
Yeah, personally, I would
I
prefer
am the support
Duchess.
animal.
The worst part about all this is I gave you all a free baby chocobo, and you left it behind. You had your built-in
wanna
cute-ass animal right there.
Listen, they deserve nothing but the best. They don't need to come into combat.
Fair. You all chose
And
political
the egg was really
niceness.
cute.
Political niceness.
Right, that was
Reputation gain.
true. That
Yeah.
did help. It also really chilled Morrow out a little bit. So, you all are waiting
D&D parties can say that confidently.
about an hour. And then just a very light at the door. And you see when this happens, Sarah just jumps up, and Al-Nubis kind of flies off, not really expecting her to leap off the couch, and seems a little perturbed, but flies back to you, Izzy, as she just starts, dusting off her clothes and looking around for her hood, and just starts. She seems like she's just starting to panic a little bit. As Kamari will go over and open the door. Or actually, he'll kind of peek out just to see who it is. And then once he notes it's Firion, he'll open it all the way. And Firion comes in.
I'll go
morning.
inside.
I'm sorry, what?
After I've got Duchess ready and stuff, and I see Firion coming in, I'll go inside.
Okay. Well, so I have the meeting scheduled within the hour. Got word this morning that my mother was going to be joining us too. I was so that wasn't really sure how to tell her. I've kind of been avoiding her. So that's
Wait, you
fun.
weren't going to tell your own mother?
I mean, I was. Here's the thing. I was gonna tell her. But I kind of wanted to see how my dad did it first.
You see Izzy just not says, you don't have to explain that to us. Your relationship with your family is your own.
No, I love my mother, but okay. I always got the feeling that my mom liked me better, so I wanted to see if my dad blew up, then I would have to soften the approach for her. But now, we'll see how it goes.
At that, you guys are just gonna hear a little crackle and just hear, yeah, you were always your mother's favorite.
I know.
I'm gonna
I'll be
go
there
over.
soon.
I want to make my way over to Kamari and whisper in his ear. When the introductions happen, we want to stay very close to Sarah.
He just kind of looks at you. You know something? Danger?
Maybe.
Should we no go?
No, we need to go. She needs to go.
Protect her.
Mm-hmm. With my life.
I need little steps. Nozak starts walking up. It just pushes the button and the stairs come back in.
Nozak, when he comes up, by the way, looks a little crazed. Like his ears are kind of going in two different directions and his eyes are bloodshot. What are you doing, Nozak?
I really need to install a bit of light down there. Hello, Ava's back.
Great timing.
Ava, I'm still not giving it to you, Ava. But I have figured out so much stuff.
That's good.
It's good.
Izzy looks through his bag and he hands what looks like a red strip to Nozak. He says, "Try chewing fruit skins. It can help wake you up when you stay up all night working on something."
Okay. Alrighty. Yep. I like do that, but there's still like a little piece of the thing like actually hanging out because my mouth isn't big enough. So I'm like, and it's like a little tongue there. I'm like,
Yeah, so they'll give you the needed antibiotics to keep you up a little bit.
You don't feel like you're about to fall over anymore, but you still feel really tired. It helps bring a little bit of focus back to the moment at hand, and this you kind of just now notice that Firion is standing in the room. Everybody's kind of standing up. There is an air of anxiety kind of hanging over the entire group as they're all just kind of looking at this crazy bunny that came out of the ground. Well, I don't know if we can put this off any longer. God, I hope this goes better than when I met my father's. It can't go much worse.
My queen?
Yes.
Do you want to ride there on Duchess?
I think I'll walk. Draw as little attention to myself as I can. Just until we see how this goes. She puts her hood up at that. And as she kind of turns away from you, Grunthor, the second she turns away, you start to forget her features. You know that's Sarah, because you know who it is. But again, you're having trouble remembering what color was her hair and, the shape of her nose as the enchantment on the cloak starts to kick in once again. So, well, I guess it's time to go. So you all will be meeting my mother and my father today. If you have any questions, I can answer them on the walk. My father can be a strict man, no nonsense, but he's not really a bad guy. My mother's
Sure.
great. My mother's great, but
Jokingly, I'm just going to say something like, "Have you met King Conrad?"
yes, and I would like to think that they're not the same. But then again, we didn't think King Conrad was like that until very recently, so... Off we go.
Nozak's just gonna turn around and be like, Luca, we're gonna go see the Emperor. I'll be back here soon, maybe.
All right, lock the door.
Just don't steal anything too bad. If
Don't
you do,
die.
Nozak's gonna look over at Ava, and is gonna see a little glint in Nozak's eyes.
Hey, wait, whoa, wait, am
If he's-
I babysitting today? I had shit to
We're
do.
seeing the Emperor. You don't have a choice.
I had shit to do, old man.
No, if you're gonna steal something, just put it in a safe space.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll watch
Don't
Nelly.
let Nelly steal anything. We protect her.
Well, what are we supposed to do?
Oh, play a game or something. Go to the forge. I don't fucking care.
Ooh, the forge.
No,
All right.
no.
Yep. Nope. I got her. Don't worry about it.
Lucas, steal from the forge.
You shut up.
Have fun with the Emperor. Hey, try not to get assassinated again.
Yeah. I'll try.
No, Zach, you're not wanted, right? Like, I'm sure you would have been arrested by now, but like, if
No.
we tried assassinating you, you're not gonna, like, the guards aren't gonna be like, oh, it's you. All right, it's
No,
everyone else.
As far as everyone's concerned, I was sent on a dignitary mission and whatever. We were supposed to die on the thing. I'm either already dead or they don't remember. It's 2 months. A lot happens in here.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I'm ready to go, and I'm keeping the materia.
I do like how Nozak's like, yeah, this Emperor tried to kill me. Let's go see him. Like, you've got no qualms about this, and I'm here
Oh
for
no,
it.
Nozak is pressed. But like, it is the Emperor, and also he loves the Empress, so I'm making that canon.
That's fair.
The Emperor might have hated him because I was Noctis' teacher, but like I reckon Nozak and the Empress probably would have worked together to like try and do
I could
something
see them
with
liking
Firion or
each
whatever.
other.
Yeah.
So, you all make your way out, and you make your way across the Imperial Palace District. As you're walking, you keep a decent pace, but it feels like forever. Like each step feels like a mile, as just the anxiety hanging over the group, just like a dark cloud, just gets heavier and heavier as you get closer. You can see, too, as you approach the actual palace itself, Sarah grabs Firion's hand and just squeezes just very hard. You can see like her knuckles turning white as she's squeezing so hard. You get up through there. They let you in, no problem. I mean, they recognize Firion, especially here at the palace. The palace is huge. It completely dwarfs Cornelia's castle. This palace has not seen, the entire city has not seen the war come to its borders like Cornelia had. Cornelia is an old kingdom, older than Lindblom itself, but has been torn by war, and Lindblom has been nothing but strength and growth since it was founded. The palace is beautiful and ornate and confusing. You're very glad that you have Firion with you to lead you through all of the different hallways, because it's even Nozak, you get a little turned around still in the palace, not coming here directly that often, and even fewer reasons to actually go into the throne room itself. But you're walking through the palace for a good probably 10 minutes before you finally make your way to the throne room. And this will be the second instance of lazy DMing, because I'm reusing the throne room that I designed before.
Why not?
DM,
I know, I'm breaking all of your immersion. What's up?
DM, really quick, before they enter, Izzy will call for Alnubis to just get on his shoulder, and he is just going, you see, he picks his while behind everyone, he picks his hat up, he straightens up his ears, and he drops his hat over his ears.
You're dropping your hat over your ears. So you're trying to conceal who you are?
He's trying to conceal the fact that he's a Vieira.
Okay. Gotcha.
Now.
All
Is
right.
this another law that I wasn't paying attention to earlier? Because I do love you, I promise.
I'm
No,
assuming
this
you brought...
kingdom is just very racist towards bunny-like people. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fucking ain't that the truth?
I'm assuming that you brought Duchess with you. And I will also... Oh, crap.
Did you forget
I
Duchess?
failed. So just imagine that Kamari's there. Just in the background. Because I don't have his token. Oh, man. We could use a Hellhound token. Just imagine Kamari's there. So, as you make your way, the throne room, while it looks identical on your map here, is actually quite different. This throne room is, again, way bigger than the throne room that you originally saw. And it has a very interesting set of stairs. So as you kind of approach it, it has two stairs that kind of come from the ground floor and kind of curve their way up to a middle landing. On that middle landing, you can see there is a hearth there that just kind of burns and crackles. And then from that landing, there's yet another set of stairs that kind of branch off, again, going up to the throne room. So the Emperor and the Empress are actually quite a bit above you as they're looking down. As you start to speak, or as they start to speak, you'll notice that the acoustics in the room are quite well designed, maybe even amplified by magic, so that you don't really have a problem hearing one another, even from this great distance. So, as you all walk in, before anything happens, is anybody here going to do anything, say anything before, or are you just going to let Firion introduce people, or how do you want to do this?
Nozak's gonna walk in and put his hand to his chest and bow.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a hand on the small of Sarah's back and say steady. And
Thank
you know, I'm
still
here
has
if
her
you
hood
need
up,
me.
by the way.
Yeah.
Izzy will defer to Firion mostly, but he will also give a very polite bow to them.
As you come in, the first thing the Emperor is just kind of looking down. My son, it's good to have you home. Huh. Damn, is that Nozak with you?
Hello, Your Excellency. It is very good to see you after all this time.
It's good to see you. How did your mission go?
Well, you kind of chose the wrong chef. He kind of poisoned the whole group and everybody died, and I was stuck in Cornelia for a while. So I'm here now. So
The chef poisoned himself as well?
Yeah, I think it was a suicide mission, but I obviously don't need to eat. I'm a rabbit, so I ended up escaping with that.
He looks over at the Empress and then kind of looks back at you. I'm glad to see you're safe.
Yeah, it's been a long couple of months. But yes, it is good to see you again, sir.
You as well. We should catch up. But I believe, first and foremost, my son had something he wanted to present to me or tell me. The formalities are quite unusual. Firion, you know you don't have to make an appointment to see us. So what is it that's got you so nervous? Boy, you look like you're shaking. And Firion...
I'm gonna whisper really quick to Princess again. I'll be like, steady.
Even Nozak's gonna be like,
Give me a persuasion check, Nozak. Or no, sorry, no, Grunthor.
I was gonna say, what am I doing?
I just said the wrong name.
That is
sorry.
funny.
Also, could I make an insight check to kind of gleam if the Emperor's actually not necessarily genuinely like excited to see him, but surprised necessarily to know that Nozak's alive.
Absolutely, go for it. I'm surprised
Am I
Nozak didn't.
also?
I was waiting. I
Or
was
is
just
it-
waiting
I
for
was about to
Nozak.
say, like, if it's too late to, not a problem. But can
I'll
I
let
also?
you do it. Go for it.
Okay.
Please do, because I rolled shit.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. He seems genuinely surprised that the chef killed people.
You...
Not to see you.
I nearly said another Aussie swear word that is like later they can't say that one on Twitch.
When when he said it's good to see you, that seemed genuine. And his surprise at your news that it was a suicide mission also seems genuine. You're not sure if he actually knew about that.
You. Fuck. Yeah, alright. Your Excellency, I do believe we are going to need to have a little bit of a chat later. If that is alright, of course.
Of course. Of course. I'd like to hear exactly how everything went. And
Oh,
I'd like to hear exactly your side of the story about what happened with the rest of the group. But, Firion, what was it that was so pressing? Firion kind of looks back at you all and takes a really deep breath, and then he just kind of takes a step forward to the base of the first stairs. So, Father, I have news, and Mother. I was on a bit of a diplomatic mission myself when I went to Cornelia. But not just that, I had another reason for going as well. I had been communicating with with someone from within Cornelia about possibly forming an alliance of some kind, and at this point, you see Sarah kind of stand a little bit straighter, and then she just kind of reaches out and grabs his hand from behind him. As at this point, Izzy and Ava, when that happens, you do notice, the Empress, and actually Grunthor, I'll say you notice this too, because even with your passive, just because you know what's going on. When this happens, you see the Empress's eyebrow go up ever so slightly, and just a little bit of, I think the situation might be dawning on her. He kind of
where do I see where Jane might be around
Give
here?
me a perception check.
Uh, 12.
You don't see
I
her
thought this is
anywhere.
the first time Nozak's height is just not to his advantage.
You don't see her anywhere. As they're holding hands, Firion just squeezes and takes a deep breath. I got married. And he just kind of lets that hang in the air. As the two of them just kind of, the shock kind of rolls over the Emperor more, because at this point the Empress had kind of started piecing things together, and they both kind of look at each other, and the Emperor just slowly starts standing up. You got married. You fled the kingdom and got married, or the Empire, I'm sorry. Yes, I'd been corresponding with someone, and I fell in love with them, and I went off to marry them. I do hate to break this to you, but typically marriages within the Empire are not recognized unless they are overseen by someone of the faith, a cleric of Lindblom itself.
Nozak's just gonna start taking a couple of steps backwards.
Is
At
that
this,
urine I'm smelling?
I might
Firion
have
goes,
pissed myself.
yes, I'm aware of the laws, and that's why Nozak performed our ceremony.
Period,
this-
you fuck.
At this point, both of them just kind of look at you. The Empress, give me a perception check, Nozak.
At least I like this one. 18.
The Empress,
he's
you kind of take a quick
shitting
glance
bricks.
at the Empress since you're more familiar with her, and her face is just unreadable. Like, you
As it
know
would
this
be,
about
yeah.
the Empress. Hildegard can sometimes, she has a very good poker face. When she doesn't want you to know what she's thinking, you don't know what she's thinking. And it's damn near impossible to tell what she's thinking. What do you do, though? They're both looking at you now.
Nozak's just gonna. I'm not sure if any most people should be familiar, but you know the look that Stewie Griffin does to Brian sometimes, that really slow head turn. Just, I will kill you in your sleep, and then I'll bring you back because obviously we need you. But really,
Well, I mean,
those were the words you chose.
I'm sorry. I'm nervous.
I can tell, but you can break it a little bit easier.
The Hildegard doesn't move, but the Emperor stands up and starts making his way down the first set of stairs, and just starts kind of
Right,
walking
now I'm
towards you.
complicit.
Well, is this the young lady that you have brought to meet us? Is this your wife? Should I ask Nozak? He kind of shoots you a look.
I'm gonna look to the Emperor, and I'm gonna look back at Firion, and I'll be like, in my defense, he used me. I didn't know. I feel violated. I didn't know this was gonna happen. This was sudden. This was
He
all
asked
him.
you, and you said yes.
I was unaware of this. Izzy, shut up! Whose side are you on?
Izzy, when you say that, he kind of looks in your direction, and he just squints a little bit. He's moved much closer now.
I feel used. I feel violated. I feel attacked.
Even with your hood up, he just kind of squints. Huh. Were you traveling with them?
Me? Oh,
Were you there?
Yes, Your Excellency. Yes, I was. I was traveling through. I was traveling through Cornelia when I met this group.
Did you come up with any leads? Is that why you were in Cornelia, investigating the outbreak?
Oh, I haven't the slightest clue what you're talking about. We're just gonna go ahead and roll that deception.
Insight!
BRB.
Yo, I think, can we all roll for that one, or is he?
Yeah,
Sneaky
what the
bastard.
hell?
Let's see what I get for deception. Yeah, baby, 18.
18. Actually, you'll need to roll this with disadvantage.
Okay, sure, I'll roll again.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have said it sooner.
Is he's like, do I have inspiration?
Nice, 13.
13. The Emperor looks a
nice.
little confused as he's kind of looking at you. Hikael, we spoke mere weeks ago about this.
I've never heard that name in my life. By the way, your son and your future daughter-in-law's wedding was beautiful.
Give me another deception check. Also with
Yeah, sure.
disadvantage.
Let's get it, baby.
Oh.
Nice. 4.
He looks
Wait,
No.
that's weird. Oh, okay, I get it.
He looks confused. I'm sorry. Is this some kind? What's going on here? Is this some kind of game? He looks over at Firion.
Even
Is this some kind of game? Everyone comes in and, I'm very busy. If this is just everyone just pulling pranks on me, this is not a good use of any of our time.
No, he's actually going to turn to Izzy and just be like, he's just What? Just do it. I kind of also want to know.
Firion at this point sees things kind of going off the rails. And he goes, Father, there's one other thing that I think you should know about. He goes, I'd stop. And he kind of just cuts Firion off. And he walks up to him, and he's kind of looming over him. Firion isn't quite as tall as his father, but he's not, like, a lot shorter. But his father does have a little bit of height on him, and he's just standing down. And at this point, the Emperor is completely decked out in very ornate, very beautiful, very expensive-looking a wardrobe. And as he's standing there at his full height, right in front of Firion, he looks imposing. This is the Emperor that stories are told about. This is the Emperor Ava that you've had in your head of, because you've never met this man, but what the Emperor would look like. And the power that he commands is palpable as he looks down at his son. I don't want to hear anything else right now. And he just like takes his hands and puts them on his shoulders. I'm glad to have you home, son. Congratulations. And he just brings him in for a big hug. As Firion, you can see his eyes are just kind of blinking like, what the hell is going on? And then his father pushes him away. I'm so happy. Who is she? You know what? What's her name? And then Firion goes, part 2 is, this is, Sarah.
And cut it off now.
He goes, Sarah, that is a lovely name. Come here, child. If you don't care, let me see your face. And then Firion goes...
Nozak is taking a few more steps backwards.
She just very, very slowly kind of steps up. And you see her bring her hands up, and they kind of hover for just a second as she hesitates before she just pulls the hood down. And you see Mateus take a step back as just shock and like almost the color drains from his face. Nozak and Grunthor, you definitely notice Hildegard. The facade cracks as she can't even hide like the surprise at what's happening. What? Wait. Sarah Gainsborough? And she takes a very well-practiced curtsy and says, Your Excellency, I'm sorry that this is how we meet. I love your son, and we've been corresponding for quite some time. And I am now Queen of Cornelia. And I come here not only as your daughter-in-law, but as someone I hope to start a new chapter for the relationships between our two kingdoms. And there's just a minute where Mateus just looks back and forth between the two of them. So let me get this straight. You ran off. You got married. You married a queen of our rival kingdom. And now you're standing here wanting to form an alliance. Well, shit, this is the best news I've had in years. As he just kind of like claps his hands together and he goes, come here. And he brings them both in for like a big hug. Ah, my God. Your brother is going to be so pissed. He has never done anything this good.
Nozak straight away is going to be like, Noctis is a little bit of a bitch, though.
Well.
All right.
Let him be. First of all, let me say this. I'm happy for both of you. Please tell me this isn't just political. That's not what I'd want for either of you. And Firion goes, I swear. It may have started that way, the correspondence, to find a better way forward, but it grew. And Sarah pops up. I swear to you, this has nothing... Well, it has things to do with politics, but I love Firion. And the Emperor just says, "This is great, Nozak. You bastard. How long have you known? I can't believe you didn't send word to me."
I've had my own couple of existential crisis the last couple of weeks, and I mean, I thought you hated me for a little while, and that was kind of annoying. But like, I didn't really know that it was something
Why
going
would I
on
hate
for
you? I
a
handpicked
little
you
bit.
for the delegate.
It was. I thought it was an assassination attempt or something, and I got scared, and I didn't know what was going on. And like, I've been working with your family for how many hundreds of years now? I just thought you didn't like me,
Exactly.
and I had to look after Noctis, and in my defense as well, like Sarah was princess beforehand. It wasn't like a king, a prince marrying the queen. It was prince and princess first, and then like some shit
Sarah
went down.
pops up and interrupts you right there. Sarah interrupts you right there and says, "My father thought that it was time I took over once I had wed. He thought I was ready, so." And she cuts you off.
She a smart bitch.
Natural 20 on her deception.
Fuck yes, Sarah.
So,
let's go.
At this point, the Emperor says, "Of course, that makes sense, but does surprise me a little bit. Maybe Conrad's finally come to his senses." As he says that, there's a minute where
Everyone's like, huh.
this is so long in the works. Oh, did you know? And he turns to Sarah. "I have been sending delegates to Cornelia for 20 years. Every few years or so, I would send some. And they would never come back. I've been reaching out."
He's definitely reacting out loud, saying, "Conrad, you."
Sarah looks confused. "We never received any delegates that I know of." And Mateus says, I don't know what happened. It got to the point to where I started to feel kind of guilty. There were good people I sent that I've never seen again. Each time I would send more and more capable people, and each time, nothing. I've been trying to mend that bridge since the Spira War ended. Never should have happened in the first place. And then at that point, Hildegard from the throne up top starts walking down too. She goes, "You know damn well what was going to happen once he did that. Your father was never going to let it go. But not the time." I think it's the time. Look, these people have no idea what's happened, what's transpired here. Don't you think that the Queen of Cornelia and the future Emperor, and she winks at Firion.
Oh, I see that. No, I don't. I'm standing behind. I'm still fucking... I'm on the floor. I'm having a panic attack.
And Firion just turns blood red. Don't you think they deserve to know the truth? Mateus just takes a step back. We're celebrating today. I'm sure they don't care about that. What are y'all doing?
Freaking the fuck out? Nozak's whole story for 2 months has just been completely thrown on its head.
At this point, Hildegard rolls her eyes. What do you all know of the Spira War? And she just kind of barrels ahead. Anyone who wants to can give me a history check.
Yeah, buddy.
I won't because I don't have memory of it.
Yeah, it's probably the best.
That's a 25.
Damn. Okay. Izzy knows stuff. 13.
I'll take a 13, but like... I only know a little bit. I can't even like beg for advantage because I was fucking there.
Well, you can't, because as part of your backstory, you also made it very clear that you just weren't paying attention to it.
Yeah.
You really backed yourself into a corner with your own backstory.
I think it's great for roleplay.
Oh, it is.
Nerd.
It's great for roleplay. It's definitely great. So
Fun over meta.
here's what you know, Izzy. The Spear War started roughly 30 years ago. It was a 10-year war, and it's been gone for about 20 years. So it lines up with what Mateus was saying. He's been sending delegates since the end of the Spear War. When the Spear War first started, Conrad had just become king of Cornelia very recently, as his father had passed. But Mateus was not currently the emperor. That was his father, Gestal. He was the emperor at the time. The official record is that the key event that kicked off the Spear War was a cleric was hung outside or hanged outside the town of Canaan by imperial forces for worship of Garuda. Basically, they hung them for going against the religion of the land. This was a big deal, especially because at the time, Canaan was controlled by Cornelia and not by the emperor. So Cornelia took that as an act of aggression, an act of war, and that's what started the war itself. That's the official record of why the war started. It lasted for about 10 years. During this time, most of Cornelia was decimated, as you've seen. The entire city of Zanarkand was wiped off the face of the map, and there were other smaller settlements that were kind of that dotted the landscape that are no longer there. The war ended about 2 years after Mateus took over as emperor. And that's what you know. That's pretty much the history of that from the books that you've read. And it ended with the Treaty of Altair. That's where that was signed, and it ceded all of Spira, the region, to the Empire, with the exception of Cornelia. And its very immediate holdings, which is why Cornelia was kind of pocketed down there and surrounded by Emperor territory, and why you had to go into Emperor territory even to get back to the Wind Shrine. So that's what you know.
Izzy will quite literally word for word say all of that.
Okay. That's what I love about the history books. It's all half-truths and bullshit. We hung a cleric, but it wasn't for blasphemy. And Mateus says, this isn't the time. Please. And Hildegard says, no, it's exactly the time. Now is exactly the time. This needs to go away. This has been hanging over the entire region for decades.
Unintended.
That cleric was hung because he was sent to kill Mateus. As she looks at Jane, no, not Jane, as she looks at Sarah, by your father. What was Gestal to do? An assassin was sent to Canaan while we were visiting there. I had family there. At that point, Mateus and I were visiting an aunt that I had. And the cleric tried to get, at that point, my fiancée in the night. Was captured and hung the next day. Of course, Cornelia spins the tale that it was because of blasphemy, and they used that as a catalyst to go to war. And Sarah says, wait, why would my father do that? Why would he try to assassinate the son of the emperor? And at this point, Hildegard looks legitimately kind of sad. Your father didn't tell you anything, did he? He kept you in the dark on everything. And Sarah looks a little taken aback. Yeah, Nozak, do you want to say anything?
Can I roll an insight and
Absolutely.
message you what I'm thinking?
Always.
Okay.
Always.
10 on the dot.
10.
Okay, I'm gonna message you what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Let me quickly type this out.
Hey, secret chats.
Ooh, secret chats. At this point, what are the rest of you doing while this conversation is going on? So I'm not just monologuing at you.
Izzy is just watching the drama.
Okay.
Trying to be as indiscreet as possible. As discreet as possible, minding his own business.
Okay.
While also being in others.
Okay.
Nozak's just been kind of like looking between everything and like looking at everybody and that. And Nozak's having a moment. He spent like however many 100 years in the Forge and with the clergy. So he's getting all of this trickled down information from them that's like counteracting all of the information he gets directly from, the past however many emperors that have been there. And he's like, kind of like having a conflict of interest at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But like hearing that one and everything going on, I think he's like looking mainly at Empress Hildegard.
Okay. I will say, normally that insight check is not great, but your message was spot on. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it to you. So...
Hey.
Gotta kill him.
So she just...
You should have let me stab him.
She just rolls her eyes. Chad, Look, I don't mean to come across as heartless. That's not what I'm intending to do. First of all, I'm so glad to see you and my son together, and I'm so glad to see you safe. And you have no idea how long I have waited to see you, to meet you. But your father was not a good man. And I hate to be the one to tell you this, but... And she looks at Mateus as he's about to say something. It's time for the lies to stop. You have been trying so hard to make this right, but at the same time, never holding them accountable for what they did, Mateus. That man tried to kill you. Your father retaliated, and yes, he went overboard. Definitely, that war escalated beyond what any of us could have ever imagined. And there were bad people on both sides. Atrocities committed on both sides. But we have to acknowledge why this happened. Sarah is just... At this point, she's kind of dropped Firion's hand. And she's just kind of standing there. This makes no sense. My father had always said the Empire had forced its way to Cornelia's borders, trying to spread the religion of Bahamut and take away the Garuda. And at this point, Hildegard says, your father didn't give two shits about Garuda or Bahamut.
I didn't even think I would have known about that.
Your father was into some dark things. And was a very selfish man.
Nozak stand in front of Sarah for a second and just look at Hildegard and just like give her a look for a second and be like, am I thinking the right thing?
As you lock...
None of the poker face shit.
Are you saying that, or are you trying to...
Yeah, I'm saying none of the poker face shit. Am I thinking the right thing?
I can't read your mind.
With the thing and like with the let's say, okay, I'm gonna point at Firion and Sarah. I'm gonna be like, this is better, but it's a bit later than what some people might have wanted. To try and infer what I messaged to you.
I think you've got the gist of it, Nozak. The truth is...
Holy fuck!
The truth is, Sarah, your mother and I were very good friends when we were younger. Both born in Altair, we grew up together. And around the time we were teenagers, we met a couple of boys. And we started to fall in love. I met Mateus, and your mother met Conrad. The problem was, not everyone felt the same way. And she just kind of lets that hang there for a second. What are you saying? Your father was a jealous man, and he wanted someone he couldn't have. So he wanted to get rid of the person they chose. Sarah takes a step back. You're telling me that the Spira War that decimated my home, that put so many of my people out of work, killed so many of my people, destroyed Kamari's home, was just misguided jealousy? That can't be true. And Mateus at this point says, I'm afraid it is. Your father tried to have me killed. I guess he thought perhaps it was doubly beneficial. Get me out of the way so that he could marry Hildegard and deprive the Emperor of his only heir, since I had no siblings. It's not a bad move, really, politically, if you think about it.
That was pretty good.
What he didn't understand was my father's cruelty, and how far he would go to crush anyone that stood in the way of his line. I'm so sorry you had to find out this way. Sarah seems woozy. She seems like she's getting lightheaded.
I'm going to go down on one knee and let her sit on that knee and steady her.
She almost doesn't even notice it as you do that, and she kind of feels something behind her like a chair and just goes to sit down, plops down on your knee. But my father, he never talked about my mother.
And I'm going to look at the queen.
She gives you a look and just very subtly just gives you the signal to wait. He never talked about her. And whenever I would ask, he would always just change the subject. And I assumed it was just because it was too painful after she passed. Now to know that I don't even know my father. I don't know anything. What are y'all doing? At this point, there's a quiet chill that kind of just comes over the room. And there's an air of, that silence that just kind of hangs there.
I don't know about you, Ava, but you noticed it, you clicked, you realized. Nozak wants to walk over to you if they noticed that, and just pull you down and just start madly whispering to each other about everything that's going on.
What are you saying? You can go ahead and roleplay that out if you'd like.
You didn't do. Nobody said anything. Nobody did anything. But what wanted to fuck the other one? I mean, they couldn't do the horizontal monster mash and the war and.
I'm sorry.
What?
Did he just say the horizontal monster mash?
He did indeed. You know
Not
what?
a thing to you guys? The horizontal monster mash.
That counts as a pun. I'll give you inspiration for that.
Oh yeah, I'll take it.
Puns and weird Australian things I've never heard. So.
I am never running out of inspiration. Let's go. Is that okay? Yeah. No, there's
actually,
got into this
back up.
massive
I'm going to
spiel.
give Izzy inspiration too for the bullshit deceptions he was pulling. I forgot to say that a minute ago.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So go ahead, Ava. What was your response to that?
What the fuck are you going on about?
Conrad done the whole spirit war because Conrad and Jade, and then he had Garland and Hildegard, but Conrad wanted Hildegard, and I don't really fucking care about the other two, but I don't like it.
I will say this, Ava. This version of events does not line up with what you'd been taught to believe. And some of the some of the basis for the beliefs that you've had in the past may or may not be challenged by what you've just heard. That's up to you. But this does shine a little bit new light on the things that have gone around the circles that you run in. And whether or not you believe them is up to you too.
Yeah. Ava's just fucking lost in thought right now. He looks completely shell-shocked hearing all this shit.
Izzy, you have anything you'd like to do?
Izzy is a wizard, and wizards, in my opinion, are just the scientists of the D&D world, along with artificers.
Sure.
So I think as an academic, he's more so interested to hear more than he is shell-shocked or anything.
Okay.
But he's not going to push her pride because clearly this isn't about him or this isn't his moment. So he's just going to sit quietly and watch.
Okay. At this point, Hildegard walks over and she kind of gets down on one knee in front of Sarah. And she kind of catches her attention as you see Sarah's just kind of processing. Listen, darling. There's been a lot that you've kind of had to hear today. And it's not been great news. But look at me, as you see Sarah starting to try to look away. I tell you this as your mother-in-law, someone who absolutely cares about you. I think more than you possibly know.
I'm putting a hand behind Sarah's back.
At this point, Nozak, you think that Hildegard, she's pretty good with the poker face. It's gone at the moment. She seems genuine and nervous. You can't remember ever seeing the Empress nervous. I have a little bit more news for you. And it's going to be confusing. And it's going to be surprising. And
oh no.
You might be angry with me. But I want you to know
everything else so far hasn't been good enough.
I want you to know that there's reasons for everything we've done. And it was the best we knew what to do. At this point, Nozak, she looks upset. She just takes a deep, steadying breath. And then you see she raises her hand, and you just see a quick Izzy. Nozak, you can both give me an Arcana check.
Nice.
Do I like that one? I don't like that
Probably
one.
not.
Can I use
Hey,
the
natural
button?
20.
Natural 20.
Oh,
Izzy, you notice...
I'll take a 10.
10. Looks like she just did one of her waves, like when she's going through on a chocobo and waving at people. To you, Nozak. Izzy, she basically undid a spell just then. You recognize the somatic components of a spell to basically undo one that she had probably previously cast. There's a tiny voice that's just soft and broken that comes from kind of the behind you all that just goes, Sarah? As she kind of turns around and looks at this woman who is standing just a few feet behind you at this point. Actually, I'll drop the token. How does that sound? How does that sound, everybody? Not that we haven't seen it already. Oh, crap.
May not have noticed the spell, but fuck me, I noticed everything else.
You do. You notice everything else as she just has appeared behind you all. And Sarah turns kind of on your knee, and she looks very confused. I'm sorry, who are you? Why do you look familiar? As Jane takes another step forward, and Hildegard pipes up again. Darling, this is your mother. Sarah says, no, my mother died when I was born. She didn't make it out of childbirth. And Jane says, that's what we had to say, darling. I didn't want to leave you, I promise. There was no other way. Sarah looks around and she looks back at Hildegard, searching for just answers, a friend. And at this point, Nozak, Hildegard is crying. She says, I'm sorry. I had to protect my friend. There was no other way. Your father would have killed her. At this, Mateus says, what the hell is going on? As he just kind of stands and he's looking around. And you see Hildegard just kind of do this and say, shh, shh. Sarah stands up and turns around and looks at Jane. Yeah, is that true? Are you my mother? As Jane starts just kind of bawling and happily just starts taking a step towards Sarah as she takes a step back. Where have you been? Where have you been my entire life? Yes, Jane just starts crying. She says, you don't understand. There were so many things. No! It's been 22 years, and not once have you reached out? You've been alive this whole time? Did my father know? As Hildegard says, no, he didn't know. No one knew. Except for Morrow. As Sarah at this point just looks crushed. She turns to Firion and says, I'm sorry, I need to go. As she just starts making for the door. As Jane says, Sarah, wait, please. As Sarah just stops briefly next to her, looks her in the eye, and then just starts running out the door.
I'm chasing after her.
Okay. Boom.
With Duchess.
Would assume Kamari would also be out there as well.
Yeah, Kamari's going to be on your heels.
Well, I think that this was a very nice meeting, everyone.
What the fuck just happened?
At this point, Mateus says, Hildegard, I have to agree with the bunny. What the fuck is going on? She stands up.
My lord.
Mateus, we can have a longer conversation about this later, but this was the only way to keep Conrad from murdering Jane. He made it quite clear that once he had an heir, he had no use for her anymore. So Morrow and I and Elmira smuggled her out. She's been living in the city for the past 22 years. He looks stunned. She's been living in the Palace District here with Elmira. We've been bringing her food. She had magical means of traveling to the market, but she's been keeping a low profile. We knew that if Conrad were to find out she were alive, he would come after her. She's the only other one on the planet that really knows about the monster that he truly is. At this point,
I wanted to kill him.
Mateus sits down on the stairs and just kind of puts his head in his hands, and he's like, oh, God. If I'd have known this is what it was going to be, Firion, I would have said I couldn't meet with you today. What do we do? Firion at this point says, I think I'm gonna go check on Sarah. And Mateus just kind of waves him on as Firion's running by. He stops at Jane and says, I understand. She'll come around. She's just shocked. And then he just keeps going. At this point, Jane's not really saying anything. She's just kind of sobbing to herself. I would assume Duchess also went with you. The three of you left in the throne room. What are you doing?
Freaking out. Okay, Dozak's going to walk up to the Emperor while he's sitting down. Finally at my level.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put my little paws on his knees and just be like, promise me right now you didn't know that I was going to die. Or that I was going to be killed. Tell me right now.
He looks you in the eye. I had absolutely no idea. I mean, okay. I thought
knew that they weren't coming home.
I thought there was a chance. None of the other delegates had made it back, so I thought there was a chance. But I hoped you would be strong enough to do it. And I will say, it seems like you're right. You're the only one that's ever come back, and you brought me a alliance and a daughter-in-law.
No, you can't say I didn't know anything about that part. That's news to me.
Yes, I'm just saying. You kind of lucked into it, I guess, but... I do have theories. I'm starting to think maybe... Well, not starting. I long suspected that perhaps Conrad had been killing them. I always assumed that they were meeting with him and maybe he was having them executed. That's why each delegate, every few years, I would send another. And each time I would try to find more and more diverse and powerful warriors.
Okay, yeah,
You're
no,
highly,
What?
You have a great reputation with the Forge. I know what you can do. Plus, I got a personal recommendation from you from Noctis.
Of course he'd fucking know about me, wouldn't he? Firion didn't know about me, but of course Noctis didn't know everything about me. Let's fucking look after him, didn't I? Had to look after a lot of you bastards ever since. There's so much going on!
I think that there's a lot of information being thrown at everyone at once. I think we should all take a quick recess before we meet again. Isn't that right, Ava?
Yes, Your Excellencies, I came in with the Cornelia group, so I think I'll take my leave with the Cornelia group. And I'll give a little bow.
Of course.
I think this might be the only time that Nozak's not going to leave with you guys. Because he's having a bit of a conflict of interest at the moment.
Okay.
And I think Nozak would understand that he probably should talk to the Empress about everything that's gone on. Or at least, with what we've been doing. So I will catch up with you guys later.
Okay, so who's leaving? So Ava, you're leaving?
Izzy immediately.
Izzy, as you start to go, he says, wait, could you stick around for just a minute, please? The two of you.
Ooh. Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Two of us?
No. Izzy and Nozak. You're free to go, Ava. You kept a really low profile. He barely even noticed you were there. So...
Ava's like, oh, thank God.
Well, now that we're in, I guess, not mixed company, everyone here, I think, is an ally of the Empire, at least. He looks over at Jane. I assume you would count yourself among that, having lived here for 22 years. Then he looks back at you, Izzy. Perhaps you didn't feel comfortable speaking in front of mixed company, but here I think you can. Have you been able to find anything out about the source of the pox that swept through this land? I know you were investigating it.
I'm So sorry, my liege. That's not me. I'm the other one.
What do you mean the other one?
Oh, I forget you actually don't go there a lot, do you?
Uh, no, I've never actually
I'm
personally been
I'm
myself.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm normally the one who entertains at parties and such. I don't go out very often. I've actually been here on the mainland studying under a mentor for some time now.
You're not
Uh,
Hikael.
no, I'm Izzy.
You look very similar.
Yes, we are twins, so
There we go. That would explain that. I apologize. I've been looking for word from him for quite some time. He was investigating the cause of the pox, and I haven't heard back. Your brother did
yes.
a wonderful job of coming through the town and eliminating the threat, but we're still trying to get to the bottom of what happened, why the outbreak started.
Uh, Izzy rolls his eyes incredibly hard, almost by reflex, before saying, I'm sure, with a smile, the group gritted teeth. I'm sure he did. I'm currently under, let's say, a traveling study. I've actually been studying under Master Matoya for some time now.
Oh, interesting. I've heard she's quite the character. Never met her myself.
So while my family stays, I'm assuming stagnant in their knowledge, I've been learning more each day.
Well, perhaps you could help us then. I'm sure your brother would share with you what he's already discovered, but anyone that could help us get to the bottom of this, why this outbreak occurred so we don't have it again, would be greatly
Oh,
appreciated.
I can do research on my own. It's best we don't work together.
Fair
Spreading
enough.
out more information from different places, it could get to you twice as
No,
fast.
that's fair enough. I have two sons myself. They don't always see eye to eye. You don't have to explain that to me.
Seeing eye to eye implies that I'm the problem as well. Anyways, what I will say though is that I can help you, but I would need to get any information you currently have if you do wish for me to start. But we also do have another mission we are working on, but we can talk about that on another date.
That's fair.
I think it'll probably coincide with each other.
Where are you staying?
Oh, we're staying with Nozak.
I.
Okay. I can have the records that we have. Your brother took some, but I can have them sent over if you'd like to review them.
Oh,
Again.
yes, some. How cute. Um,
Put him in the library. There's probably
Wonderful.
something there.
I'm going to go make sure Sarah's all right. You all
course.
have a great rest of your day. Nozak, remember to breathe. Remember to breathe. If you try to consume knowledge with your mind racing, it'll be harder for you to retain it later. You see, he begins to walk off before. Firstly, he goes to Jane. He shakes her hand and says, "It was very lovely to meet you. Meet you." And he continues out.
She doesn't respond. She shakes your hand, and at this point, she's composed herself a little bit, but she just kind of
Um,
nods graciously.
oh yeah, Nozak, you have like high as hell passive perception, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. His fists are clenched, like his knuckles are white. But somehow is still keeping his very neutral body language before he leaves.
All right. And then there was one. Nozak. What are you doing?
Okay. Look. You can understand why I thought the way I did. You're a smart man. I've known you, your father, you're all the fucking same. You're all stubborn. But
Well,
you can understand why I thought the way I did. At least give me that.
I don't blame you for that. I mean, of course,
Okay.
if you thought you were trying to be assassinated. To be honest, I'm kind of impressed with you just coming in here and asking if I tried to kill you. Not a lot of people would I mean, you realize you did just walk up to the Emperor and accuse me of trying to murder you. Lightly.
Yeah, look, you wouldn't be the first Emperor that's tried to kill me, let's be honest. It's kind of a day-to-day thing at this stage. I've been around for 900 years, for fuck's sake. But, like, I mean, if you were going to say yes, I mean, kudos, I'd give you some tips next time to pick a better culinarian, but there's a lot that has happened.
My goal, since I took over as Emperor, was to mend the wrongs of my line. I know the reputation the Empire has throughout the land, and it is well earned. We have done horrible things. My father has done horrible things. I have done horrible things.
Yeah, look, I'm kind of complicit in that as well. I did make the weaponry.
That's why I've been trying to reach out to Cornelia to just establish some form of alliance. And every turn met with nothing. Silence from their end.
Okay. Right.
Do you think, and I need your honesty on this, Nozak, because you are the only one. That's true. You are the only one that's ever returned from one of these trips. Do you think the assassination attempt came from within the Empire itself? Is someone sabotaging these, or do you think it was Conrad?
Hey, here's my line of thinking. If what you're saying is true, and I'm not questioning it at the moment, but I can only go off of, face value. You've been sending these delegates for a while. I'm the only one that has come back so far. The con to this is that you're the one that have handpicked people to go on this mission, which means you've known the people, you've sent them out.
Right.
The last thing that I remember was sitting down to have dinner with my party a couple of hours out from Cornelia, because it was late when we got there. The only thing is that the chef that was picked was extremely nervous the entire time, had always shaken, no matter what I did, could not calm him down. I didn't wake up with the party. I woke up in the middle of the streets of Cornelia with my new party over the body of a dead Golka. I didn't wake up with them. So the con to you is I was removed from them, but it was only us. The pro to it is I was removed from them. I didn't wake up with them. So I could only assume that death has come to them. So right now, there is the possibility that there might be somebody else around that we don't know about. And I can get to work finding that information myself. Because, I mean, if you've known about everything else, you sure as fuck know about Luca, don't you? I'm going to look over at Hildegard about that one, because she's a smart bitch.
As you do that, she kind of goes, and then he says, your son? Yes, I know of your son. Why?
Yeah.
Was he supposed to be a secret? How many more secret people do we have living in this town?
Well, be a conversation between us for later, because we need to have a couple of chats about some of the sisters in the church.
What about that?
Well, we'll talk about that later, because that's gonna. We'll talk about that later. We have a lot to talk about. Okay. We need to chat about a lot of things. I need answers to questions. You need information about everything that's been going on. This is the start of what's been happening, but with the current situation, we will continue this chat with the party, with Sarah, later.
I
Okay?
think that's for the best. I can't believe this turned out like this. He shoots kind of a nasty glare to his wife. I told you this wasn't the time. This was Firion's day. I feel like we've ruined that. Hildegard just
Well,
goes,
considering...
well, that...
No, Zach's going to be like, well, Firion nearly died the other day, so I suppose he does need some good news.
Wait, what?
Oh... I shouldn't have said that.
Firion almost died.
well,
What happened?
I mean, he's alive. We were in Altair and fires, and he saved a lot of people and smoke inhalation, and he nearly died. And we had Minwoo, and like, bada bing, bada boom, revivify. He alive.
He actually died?
He didn't actually die. I don't know. Maybe he's fine now.
Oh my god.
Just use the Phoenix down on him.
What a day. At this point,
Yeah.
the Empress sits down next to her husband on the steps.
I feel like a kid between two parents fighting. We love you very much, Zach.
At this point, the Emperor says, we have to make this up to him. He brought us this good news, and I feel like we've...
Right.
I know. We'll have a celebration.
You two
We'll have a
are
celebration.
going to organize a wedding.
And then they're kind of talking. We're going to have a celebration yes, of course, Nozek. We can, well, if they want to have another more official ceremony.
No, I don't care what they think. I'm making this shit official now. One thing though,
Yes.
I'm going to head out with them. They've probably gone back to my home, or they're somewhere in the castle. Can you do me a favor, Empress Hildegard?
Yeah.
What am I even calling you now, sir? Bam. I mean, anyway. Can you send Noctis?
We've known each other for
to
quite
home?
some time. You can call me Hilda. Most people do that are close with me.
Sure. In our proximity with everybody else, I'll still, ma'am. Anyway, can you send Noctis to my house? I feel like, with all due respect to you two, there is a lot that's been going on here, and I think it might be good to let them have a private space. I mean, they've got their rooms, but they're not going to destroy things in my house. It will also let everybody else meet Noctis, because I've got some questions for him too.
Sure. I'm sure he'd be happy to see you, actually. You and him are rather close, right?
Oh, he's on a hit list, don't you worry. I'm not game enough to do anything, but he is on a list.
She just kind of gives you a look. Please, and I know you, but please just refrain from threatening our son, please.
The other one didn't even know who it was!
Well, this one does. Maybe you just need to get out more. She gives you a little bit of a smirk.
You're a smartass. I'm looking at you.
I'm
Hilda.
glad to see you back, Nozak.
They're just gonna let out a sigh and just like give her a hug, or like try to like jump and give her a hug.
Okay.
Be like, yeah, it's good to see you two, Mum. Closest I've had to one in however many years. All right,
That makes
I'm
me
gonna
feel
go
really
and
old. Now a 900-year-old
I am
bunny's calling
9
me.
old. At
And-
that, no, I'm just gonna turn around, look at Jane. I'm just gonna be like, nah, not happening. Nah, not, absolutely not. Good luck to you,
She's
but
gonna nod.
fuck me, and then walk off.
As you're leaving, you hear them kind of return to their conversation, and you just get the bits and pieces like, okay, so we have to do something. What would a ball of some kind, a wedding, and then right as the doors are kind of closing behind you, you hear Mateus say, "The festival." Yes, Firion loves the festival. We'll do that.
Oh, we don't, because I know what you're about to say. Can I roll a check for the festival?
Yeah, go ahead and roll an insight check. Or a
Is
history.
that the one I like? It's being inside. Damn, fucking even history.
Whatever you want. Yeah, no.
Insight. Oh, never mind. Oh, a 9. I remember one happening. That's it.
Okay.
I don't remember what's
Yeah,
going
you're
on.
not exactly sure what he's talking about as the doors kind of close behind you, and that's the last that you can hear. As you're kind
Oh.
of standing out there, alone in the hallway. Would he see anybody? Did you all stay around, or did you all go further? I'm assuming Grunthor is gone because Sarah didn't stop right outside the door.
Izzy
Ava
Ava would
would
have waited for Izzy.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice. Izzy would have gone to go to Sarah, and he would have been like, "Oh, hi Ava. Did you see which way they went?"
Grunther's armor's allowed. I'm sure you can find it. It sounds like they went that way, though.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Oh,
Are you sticking around until Nozak gets out?
I'll wait a couple minutes, but then I'll leave.
Okay. So it sounds like
Oh.
Nozak, you are, because you were in there for a little bit.
yeah.
In there, you come out and you're by yourself with everything that's kind of, I think it takes a minute and it kind of is all hitting you. There's a lot of information. I know that because I'm thirsty and I've been talking a lot. So there's a lot of information. As you just stand there kind of trying to process it, you hear a voice kind of off to the side. Nozak? And it is, as you turn,
He's getting
Noctis
so-
is coming down and it's just kind of stopped. What are you doing here?
We have so much to talk about. Like, so much to talk about. And I am very confused right now. And I have words that I want with you, young man. But, like, I'm just gonna look up at Noctis. And Nozak's just gonna, like, walk up and just... I don't know if this is, like, a thing. If one was too stressed or worried. And he's just gonna, like, grab onto his leg. But not, like, hold it. But just, like, grab onto the pant legs or something. And just kind of, like, bash his head once on his shin. And just be like, I want to go home. I just want to go home. Can you take me home, please?
Yeah, I can take you home.
Okay, thank you. This is a lot. We're having a chat.
Yeah, okay. When'd you get back?
Oh, like 3 days ago or something. It's been a couple of days. It's fine.
Ah, okay.
Also, Firion's here as well.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll explain a lot more later. Just maybe in
Sure.
private.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what happened. Interested in that. You want to go home?
Sure.
Yeah, I can show you. Come on. He turns around and starts walking you down the hallway. I think we're gonna end there. For the
Yay.
So.
I was physically sick for like a good hour.
So there we have it. The news to the second set of parents and half of the first set of parents has been broken. Things went maybe differently than we expected with the Empire or the Emperor, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to go with Jane until we got in the middle of it. So that's how that played out. Again,
Classic DML.
thank you all for those of you that tuned in live, or if you're watching on YouTube. We will be back again next week with episode 15. Oh man, I'm losing track.
15, yeah.
I'm losing track. Once we hit double digits, I don't know what they're called anymore. Anyway, thank you all again for listening and watching this, and thank you again to Sirenscape for the awesome ambience. I really like having that in the background. So we will see you next week. Lolly ho, everybody.